The National Taxi Alliance says while it welcomes the decrease in fuel prices, it doesn't mean fares will also drop. Petrol decreased by just over R2 a litre, while diesel has gone down by between 46 and 56 cents a litre this morning. Commuters and motorists have been feeling the pinch of high costs following months of consecutive increases this year. The NTA says while it appreciates the latest decrease, another R5 to R6 drop in fuel prices would help alleviate the current hardships faced by the taxi industry. We're now joined by Reggie Sibiya, who is with the Fuel Retailers Association. He is the executive officer there. Dr. Sibiya, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. This is, of course, the biggest decrease in petrol, at least, that we have seen in the last 2 years. So it really is a significant moment.
Absolutely. Good evening, Kathy, and good evening to the viewers. Indeed, it is very good news, and as we have predicted in the past, and we believe that it will still continue to be good news for petrol. I mean, we're still predicting that there will be another decrease on petrol next month, which then means that we have 3 consecutive months of decrease, and it's really a welcome relief for everybody. Yes, for diesel also there was a decrease, though it was not as big as on petrol. And also whilst we're looking forward to the decreases for petrol, I think unfortunately the trend with diesel, Kathy, is shifting drastically in the opposite direction. So we are likely to see an increase on diesel in the coming months while we continue with decreases on petrol.
And why is that, Mr. Sibiya?
Well, there are various factors, Katie, but the biggest one, let's maybe try and understand the European markets, because that's very, very important. You know, currently in the European markets is what we call the harvest time. So, in this harvest time, it means then there is a lot of, diesel requirements for agricultural purposes to ensure that the heavy-duty equipment, like tractors, etc., that is used for harvesting, has got the sufficient levels of diesel. So that's one aspect that is currently driving up the demand for diesel in the European markets. But coupled with that is the geopolitical, factors. As you may be aware, Kathy, that the European Union has been continuing to put sanctions on Russian gas supplies. And recently the developing story has been them also pushing for price capping on the Russian gas prices. And obviously, Russia has not been responding positively. And as we speak, some of the European markets, are actually showing a 40% decline on gas supplies. Now, why does that impact on diesel? Now, we know that if then there's a shortage of gas, and then the immediate substitute for gas is diesel. So the fact that these European markets now cannot access gas from Russia, they're now actually looking at diesel as an alternate substitute. And this is actually going to be even more massive because Europe is now approaching winter. Remember that this gas, mainly in Europe in winter, is used for heating. So, and if now there's going to be 40% or more, reduction in gas from Russia, it means then they need 40% or more supply of diesel. And currently refineries are very restrained and very tight, on their inventories as far as diesel is concerned. So that is actually the main cause that is causing now the supply and the demand curve to actually move in the opposite direction.
What are the options? Sorry to come in there. What are the options that are available to a country like South Africa in terms of cushioning that blow? Because, listening to what you are saying, it means that the price of diesel as it stands could well be the lowest that it may be in the next couple of months.
It will be the highest in the next coming months. The price of diesel, because of the increasing demand.
Yes.
And Kathy, that's exactly the point that we keep on, you and me, discussing, is the fact that as a net importer, and also the fact that diesel is deregulated, in South Africa and also in these European markets, it is not a safe net for prices going up. The prices are really driven by these, geopolitical, factors. And remember, it is not just the Russia-Ukraine. The whole of Middle East, which is the OPEC, the oil-producing countries, is also under turmoil in terms of geopolitics. So all of those things are really bringing a constraint on the production and therefore the supply of fuel products. So it's really, these are factors that are outside us. And I always said, when the Middle East and Russia sneezes, we all catches the flu. It's just the reality of life. And yes, and as fuel retailers, we are just as well suffering. And we're saying we really hope that these geopolitical situations will improve. And until they actually improve, unfortunately, we will always be subjected to these conditions.
Reggie, Sibiya, let's leave it there for tonight. He's with the Fuel Retailers Association.